Hi, I'm Buddy Cook. Today I want to talk to you about this. This is a single piston valve soprano bugle in G and D. The valve drops it to D. This one's manufactured by Conn in Elkhart, Indiana in 1933. So these were used in Drum and Bugle Corps about that time. And actually on this model, it's one of the early models of it. It's actually marked as patent pending on the valve here. So you can see there's a screw hole here. I don't have the screw. Prior to these, drum corps were using just straight bugles. And to get more musical tones, half of the instruments would be in a different key. So half in G, half in D, and kind of like a bell choir. They could play back and forth and get all the different notes. So when these were first introduced to save money, that you had both a G and a D horn in one, the rules organizations in the American Legion required them to be locked in one position. So there was a little screw that could lock this down or lock it up so that during performances the musicians couldn't change and couldn't operate the valve. They just had a straight bugle, but the corps didn't have to buy twice as many bugles, and on parade or non-competition events they could actually play them. Now when you've got something like a G and a D, it's an interesting being separated by that fifth like that. It works out nice musically for making chords. But with the harmonic series, if you line the two up, it can actually put together a scale. So you can play diatonic music, just a major scale. So with that, we can actually start doing some more tunes because we've got a full scale to work with. Now, this instrument, we've got the valve. You can lock it in the open or closed position. We do have lever spit valves on both the main horn and the coil for the first valve here. There's a tuning slide on the back. And this particular model has a gold wash bell. So even though the outside is in a silver color, the inside is a gold. And that was popular at the time in a number of different horns. So I picked up this bugle in a local antique store, had some damage to it, got the bell restored. Local shop did a great job on that. But in the box that it came with, it actually still had, this is a program for the American Legion Post 574 Bugle and Drum Corps from Hudson Falls, New York, which is somewhere near where I live. Their first annual banquet, February 4th, 1930. So apparently the previous owner of this horn was a original member of one of these Drum and Bugle Corps back in the 1930s. As I was editing the video, I realized there were a couple things about this bugle that I didn't get in there that I wanted to include. You know, the one interesting thing too, I didn't read it before exactly. It actually says patent applied for instead of patent pending. I guess the language at the time. But when you look up the patent, it's a patent for a method of changing the key of a bugle. Is how they listed it, which makes me wonder if from the get-go they were thinking of making it a way to just lock them in, or I guess that's probably what the patent is about, is locking it and holding it there and not playing it. The tuning slide on this bugle is very, very long, and actually it's a bit of a holdover from the heritage of this coming from the Army's field trumpet in G, because just like the quartermaster spec, there is actually a, I don't know if we can see it, there we go. There is a etched in line here on the valve and a little marking that says F right there. So these slides, just like the Army's field trumpet, were meant to allow you to put the instrument into the key of F instead of the key of G, which also demonstrates the heritage going back to that Army field trumpet instrument. Conn made 3 of these instruments in the line for these. I believe that this is the 86L Soprano. They also made a 88L baritone, which was a full octave lower and would have been 24 inches long overall. I think this is a soprano because it should be about 21 inches with the mouthpiece. This is about that. And then for a third horn, they also had a 90L tenor. Now, the tenor was pitched the same as the soprano, so they're voiced the same. They're in the same range, the same pitch. But the tenor horn was a larger bore on the instrument and a little bit larger bell, more of a flair to it, and was supposedly a more mellow sound to go into the choir with the other two. Now that instrument would have been 23 inches long, which I'm assuming includes the mouthpiece. This is nowhere near 23, even with the mouthpiece, certainly not without it. So I believe that this is the soprano. They pretty much just look the same, except for those size differences, and the baritone would be a larger horn. So that's a quick overview on the single piston valved GD soprano horn. This one made by Conn in 1933. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe if you want to see more old horns like this, and have a wonderful day.